So ultimately, what I can now start to do is program more melodic elements. So what does that mean? Well, what I can do is I can start creating basic arpeggios. Now I've got that single note. And what I can do is make sure I'm just going to take these 2 notes off. And that gives us complete freedom. So it is starting on the 1. And then from there, what we can do is chart a bit of a path. So maybe we want to do a kind of a trippy kind of arpeggio. So what we can do is we can start off on 0.1. And again, we've just moved that off the 1 beat. So we'll hear the original sound. And then we'll get da-dum, something like that. And then maybe we go to a 3rd. We open up 0.2. We can then go to a 4th, maybe on the next 16th note. And then we can go to a 5th here. And then maybe to close out proceedings for now, we'll have a 5th here. So then if I hit the 1 note, so you can start to hear the possibilities, right? And then from here, what I can do is I can start obviously panning the arp. And this is where it gets really interesting, because obviously each one of these voices represents a note. And maybe I can bring that up to an octave. 0.4. There we go. And again, we can... And this is where it gets really nice, because, again, I'm working on a D note, but the key and the scale here is set to C major Ionian. So if I change that to D, you actually see that the notation changes. And this is actually like the traditional music theory notation for D major. So again, if you're looking for a quick way of actually learning in a practical matter, in a practical way, the practicalities of music theory in its traditional form like this, and I'm learning about this more and more because I'm starting to write more film scores and work with like live musicians and stuff, and it's a really, really interesting thing. This is something I thought I'd never learn because I was basically just a techno DJ, but it's amazing how much an understanding of this really enhances your understanding of music production, and it enhances your writing and your creative process as well. So from there, I can move this to say something like a Dorian scale. So what we'll get is this, which is the same thing, but if I start to move through, we might start to get some different ideas. So you hear that? So we get that Lydian movement, which is a different vibe. So we can go through. See, it's got a little flavour to it again. And works in a natural minor. Bit more of a sinister turn there. Use a harmonic minor. And again, it gives us a lot of flexibility because I'm working in D and we've just found a number of scales where the actual arp doesn't actually change. Now, you may be forgiven for thinking that that's a bad thing. I actually think it's a really good thing because it means that I've got a lot of flexibility with the rest of this idea to figure out what scale will actually frame and work around this idea that I'm building that will work for what it is that I'm trying to say in the track. So again, really, really interesting. Pentatonic is an interesting one where you've got 5 tones in the scale rather than, say, 7. See, again, works with pentatonic minor, which is cool. Some of them are a bit weird and a bit, again, enigmatic. And it just gives you different feels. So we can move that back to, I think I probably want to work on a natural minor. And again, we've got another 4 points to play with. So we've got one part of the phrase here. And then what I can do is add 0.5. And maybe we sort of replicate the pattern a little bit. And then what we can do from here is just do something a little more interesting to kind of round a phrase off. Maybe we kind of invert the movement there. And we kind of move that way. I really like that pattern without that sixth point in, so I can just turn it off. So again, I can start to maneuver and then add a little bit of overall feedback. And all of a sudden, it's just got this really lovely melodic complexity. So we play that. We can add a bit more volume to that. What we could even do is actually show that the sequence actually will play at whatever pitch and whatever timing as well. So again, we've got D2 after 2 beats and then D3. So let's play that. In fact, let's duplicate that. And what we can do is have a D3 here after another bar, and we can see how the two start to layer together over octaves. And again, like, I had no idea I was actually going to do something like this at the beginning of the stream. I just set something up at some defaults. I did that very deliberately to kind of show you just how easy and how intuitive it is to start, working on this kind of level with the Octavox plugin. And again, it adds so much possibility to what would regularly be just a very straight arpeggio. Think about it. You would have to automate in quite a hardcore, quite sort of serious way the individual notes in order to get them to actually appear on the left and right of the stereo image. You would possibly even have to use a couple or multiple separate instances of your synth plugin in order to get the notes to pan correctly and to add that level of interaction and immersive experience to this ARP. Whereas with Octavox, I can simply just pick a voice, give it a note, decide which one of these notes or voices is going to have a bit of delay added to it, and again, globally in this case, and I'm going to be able to pitch them exactly where I want them. I'm going to be able to place them in the stereo field exactly where I want them. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really clever. Very, very creative plugin that I'm really, really glad that we're highlighting here, because I do think it's something of a hidden gem. It's a bit of a secret weapon plugin. So the fact that you're going to get it for $39 through Tuesday is a bit of a wild deal. If I didn't already have it, I'd be snapping it up, being completely honest with you.